This type of language has nothing to do with modern day Christianity. And yet it is foundational. It's full of glory and joy unspeakable. Some of you are going to be missionaries. You want to know what keeps you on the mission field? This. This is what will keep you on the mission field. You know what will keep you going when all storms of hell are breaking against you? This is what will do it. The Father loved the Son before the foundation of the world. He desires a people for His Son. I'm digging in my heels and I'm staying here. Because this calling and ministry of mine is a part of bringing that to an end. I'm doing this to see the Son's joy. I'm doing this to see the Father's joy in beholding His Son. That's the strong medicine you need to be in the ministry. See, the Father seeks the Son's glory because of His eternal and paternal love for Him. And to think that He loves us as He loves His Son. And that for the believer it can also be said that the Father's love is paternal, fatherly, but it's also eternal. That He loved us before the foundation of the world. He not only loved you before you loved Him. He not only loved you before you knew Him. He loved you before you were or was. That's amazing. And so even in all those years of rebellion, the love of the Father was working to bring you to Him. And if He loved you when you were enemies, how much more does He love you now? John Gill calls it an ancient love. But sometimes that word ancient is the strongest of all words. We refer to a man as ancient. It does have some quality to it, some ring to it. But it also means feeble, weak, on their way out. But when God is called the Ancient of Days, it has nothing to do with feeble or weak or old or decrepit. It speaks of His wisdom and His eternity and His power. And that love is ancient. We say that when love grows old. You know, no one ever says that positively. Do you realize that? Man, my love for her has grown old. That doesn't mean anything good. You walk up to your wife and say, honey, my love for you has grown old. She is not going to be happy with you. But here, that it's an ancient love. See, over time, God does not wane. You and I wane. Our love wanes. So the first time going over the Andes Mountains, I couldn't figure out why the missionary I was with, old Homer Crane, sat there and just snored. I'm looking at all this beauty and I can't believe that he can't see it. He's snoring. Well, we've been over those Andes Mountains, that same road, countless times. Same way with me. Several years later, I'm taking a group of people across the Andes Mountains, and I don't think I snored, at least not as loud as him, but I really didn't care about the mountains. My passion for them had waned. Looking at them long enough caused them to become common to me. But when it says that God's love is ancient, if anything, It is consistent, okay? It doesn't get stronger, it doesn't get weaker, it's perfect. But if you had to go on one side or the other, it'd be better to say it goes from strength to strength instead of from weakness to weakness. Now, the Father created the universe and ordained the salvation of a multitude from the mass of fallen humanity because He loves His Son and seeks His glory. We've already said that. Through His incarnation, perfect life, cross, and resurrection, the door has been opened for the Son to gain the greatest glory for Himself. He has come to have first place in everything. First place as God. First place as man. First place in everything. First place among the resurrected. First place among the glorified. First place among the exalted. Firstborn. He's everything. Absolutely everything. First place in everything, and all things in heaven and earth have been summed up in Him. All of this has been accomplished according to the good pleasure and perfect satisfaction of the Father. Ian and I we're studying the Beatitudes right now, my son Ian, and we got to inherit the earth. And I said, son, do you know what inherit means? He goes, no, I don't. And I said, well, one day, as we've talked about before, I'm going to die. He said, yes. And I said, and when I do, everything that I own is going to go to you and your brother and your sister. You're going to inherit everything that I have. And of course, my son thinks that I own the world. How sorely disappointed he is going to be when he gets older. But I said, everything that I own is yours. It's yours. Now his little face lit up. I don't think he was excited about me passing on. But he just, it was like, he's a little boy. He's just turned 7. And he it's like, I had never thought of that before. It's like an epiphany. And then we went from inheriting the earth. And the joy that was in his face, and I took joy in it. Everything that belongs to the Father belongs to the Son. And the Father's done all this to give the Son first place. That's amazing. That's just amazing. Now I sit there and if we being evil can give good gifts to our children, that's what Jesus says. If you being evil, then what is this love of the Father that seeks for His Son first place in everything? I'm always telling my son, that he'll say something and I'll say, oh, but son, I have plans for you. You're going to be a far greater man than your father. Now, if he becomes a greater man than his father, do you honestly think I'm going to mope? Do you think I'm going to say, oh, he beat me? If he's more godly, if he's more used of God, do you honestly think I'm going to sit there and just pout? I'm going to go wild. I want him to do that, to know that, to have that. I want that for him. Do you see that? Now, if I, being evil, can want that, what about the Father? See, most people would go from here and jump to you, which is a rather sick thing in my mind. If God could if we can want to give good gifts to our children, then how much does God want to give good gifts to you? Now that's true, Jesus said that, but I want you to step back first and think of this. If we can desire to give good things to our children, how much more does the Father desire and delight in giving good things to His Son? Think about Him before you think about you for a minute. I know it's hard. What kind of explosion of joy was there at the return of the Son into heaven, having accomplished? Can you know, you can't imagine. Don't even think. Don't even try to think you can imagine. Me and my little boys, and probably someone who sees this on film will get mad at me, but me and my little boys are Lord of the Rings fans. We just love watching those things. I don't know if it's just we love fighting or what it is, or take out aggression somewhere. We just really get a kick out of them.